Some justices are politicians in robes who thrive in a system where access and influence are for sale. Some justices are politicians in robes who thrive in a system where access and influence are for sale. Now, that's a pretty bold statement.
I'm sorry, Senator, is that a news article?
No, sir. That's a retweet here. You tweeted this out. Tell me which justices are for sale.
I don't recall that tweet, but...
Here it is. November 21, 2022. Can you tell me which justices are for sale?
No.
Are any of them for sale?
No, the problem is that the American public has a perception that some justices may be.
I'm going to establish the point first. I want to know, you tweeted this out. Do you believe that some justices are for sale?
What you just watched is exactly why Senator John Kennedy remains one of the sharpest questioners in Congress. This wasn't grandstanding. This wasn't bullying. This was basic accountability, and frankly, it exposed a major problem with how some advocacy groups and witnesses talk about the U.S. Supreme Court. Welcome back to Congress Lens. I'm Audrey, and today we're breaking down Senator John Kennedy's confrontation with Campaign Legal Center's representative, Mr. Payne, during this hearing covered by Forbes Breaking News. Because when you accuse Supreme Court justices of being for sale, that's not rhetoric, that's an explosive allegation. And Senator John Kennedy did what any responsible lawmaker should do. He asked for names. He asked for proof. And he refused to let vague accusations slide. If you believe facts still matter, if you believe words have consequences, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because Congress Lens doesn't just show you the clip, we analyze the truth behind it. Now let's talk about what actually happened here.
Chairman, and thanks to all of our witnesses who have joined us today. Mr. Payne, let me start with you, sir. You're kind of in the middle here. You work for the Campaign Legal Center, is that right?
That's correct.
Is your website campaignlegal.org?
Correct.
Okay. Does not the front page of your website say, I'm going to quote here, I want to get it right, the current U.S. Supreme Court is a threat to our democracy. The current U.S. Supreme Court is a threat to our democracy. Did I read that right?
What I can say is that our organization...
But is that on your website?
I am not certain exactly what's on the website.
Here it is, right here,
Okay.
big as Dallas.
What that refers to is the voting rights voting rights cases of the Supreme Court. Our organization is a voting rights organization that fights for all Americans to have the ability to vote.
Yeah, but you got to click a bunch of times to find that explanation. I just want to make sure I read that correctly. A few months ago, Mr. Payne, you retweeted the following statement. Some justices are politicians in robes who thrive in a system where access and influence are for sale. Some justices are politicians in robes who thrive in a system where access and influence are for sale. Now, that's a pretty bold statement.
I'm sorry, Senator, is that a news article?
No, sir. That's a retweet here. You tweeted this out. Tell me which justices are for sale.
I don't recall that tweet, but...
Here it is. November 21, 2022. Can you tell me which justices are for sale?
No.
Are any of them for sale?
No, the problem is that the American public has a perception that some justices may be.
I'm going to establish the point first. I want to know, you tweeted this out. do you believe that some justices are for sale? And if so, which ones?
No, Senator, I do not believe that justices are for
Then why'd you
sale.
tweet this out?
What, can you provide more context of what that is? that
I'll get you a copy, but here it is. I
Okay.
checked it and triple checked it. You also said less than a month ago that John Roberts, you retweeted this out. John Roberts is a disgrace.
No, I actually.
Not I disagree with Justice Roberts. Well, you didn't call him Chief Justice Roberts. You called him John Roberts.
No, this is,
You retweeted this.
no, Senator, I did not retweet that.
Yes, sir, you did, right here.
I will
It's
need
big
to
as
see.
Dallas.
Can you provide a copy to me
Sure.
now? But
Sure.
I did not retweet
Can you
that.
tell me why you think Chief Justice Roberts is a disgrace?
I did not say that, did not retweet that.
Oh, okay. Maybe Twitter got it wrong.
Someone got it wrong.
Let me ask you this, because the unstated premise of all this, sometimes it's stated, but the unstated premise of all this is that some justices have been bribed. Let's just cut to the chase. Okay? Now, let me stay with you, Mr. Payne. Well, no, let me go to Mr. Fogel. I don't want to just pick on you, Mr. Payne. You can be looking up on Twitter where you said those things. On April 4th, 2019, the American Civil Liberties Union paid for Justice Sotomayor's trip to San Juan, Puerto Rico. You ever been to San Juan, Mr. Fogel? Is it expensive?
I keep forgetting. Well, it depends when you go.
Yeah. How much you think it costs to go down there?
Depends whether you fly first class or economy.
What if you fly first class?
Oh, probably a couple $1,000s
Okay.
Yeah.
The ACLU, do they have cases in front of the Supreme Court?
all the time.
They do, all the time?
Sure.
Do you think the ACLU was trying to bribe Justice Sotomayor?
No, sir, I don't.
I don't either. But that's the unstated premise of all of this.
Well, Senator, if I
All
may,
these articles about Justice Clarence Thomas and the Chief Justice in the United States and Justice Gorsuch, who sold an interest in an LLC to a Democratic donor who had never met, that they bought him, isn't it?
may I say something in
Of
response,
course.
Senator? I think there are two things going on here today. I think there is a political conflict, which is, as I said earlier, it's very intense. It's hyper-partisan. Both sides have things to say. And then I think there's an ethical issue.
When you accuse people of being bribed, it kind of
I'm not accusing.
gets their attention.
Sir, hold on a second. I'm not accusing anybody of being bribed. I'm not.
But some people are.
Some people are. The reason I'm here is I think that there is an ethical issue that, as Senator Graham said earlier, it would be good for the court to think about in terms of being more transparent. That is what I care about. That's the only thing I care about. There's a lot of political back and forth that's very interesting. I'm very interested in it as a citizen of the United States. But I think the most useful thing that this or any other committee could do is think about how do we make our institutions...
Well, how are you going to do that in the context, though, of one of our leaders, for whom I have great respect, going on the steps of the United States Supreme Court, telling two justices if they vote in a way he doesn't like, they will pay the price and reap the whirlwind. And you have another one of your witnesses here tweeting out stuff saying, quote, some justices are politicians in robes who thrive in a system where access and influence are for sale.
Yep.
He said they were bought like a sack of potatoes.
Okay, I'm not going to comment on that, Senator. That's not anything I had anything to do with. So,
Did I hear the gavel?
thank you.
I hope. Thank you, Senator Kennedy. Senator Hirono? I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Blumenthal. Senator Blumenthal.
After watching the full exchange, here's what stands out clearly. Senator John Kennedy didn't accuse anyone. He exposed accusations already being made. Mr. Payne works for the Campaign Legal Center, an organization whose own website describes the current Supreme Court as a threat to democracy. That alone sets the tone. But Senator John Kennedy didn't stop at slogans. He went straight to Mr. Payne's public statements. When Mr. Payne retweeted a claim saying, "Some justices are politicians in robes who thrive in a system where access and influence are for sale," Senator John Kennedy asked the most obvious question that no one else seems willing to ask. Which justices? And that's where the entire narrative collapsed. Mr. Payne couldn't name a single justice. Mr. Payne wouldn't stand by the implication. Mr. Payne suddenly claimed he didn't even remember tweeting it. That matters. Because if you publicly suggest that Supreme Court justices are for sale, you are not criticizing ideology, you are implying corruption. Senator John Kennedy made that point crystal clear, and he was right to do so. The moment that really seals this exchange is when Senator John Kennedy introduces a real-world comparison. He brings up the ACLU paying for Justice Sonia Sotomayor's travel. Senator John Kennedy openly says he does not believe that was bribery, and neither does Mr. Fogel. That's the point. If that's not bribery, then stop casually throwing around language that suggests other justices were bought. You can't demand ethical purity only when it fits your politics. Senator John Kennedy also addressed something many commentators ignore: the damage caused by reckless rhetoric. When public figures suggest justices will pay the price for rulings, or when witnesses imply corruption without evidence, it doesn't reform the court, it undermines public trust in the judiciary itself. And Senator John Kennedy wasn't emotional. He wasn't shouting. He wasn't accusing. He was methodical, relentless. This wasn't about protecting any individual justice. This was about defending the principle that accusations require evidence. If you want Supreme Court reform, transparency, or ethics rules, argue for them honestly. But don't poison the well by implying bribery and then refusing to stand behind your own words. That's why Senator John Kennedy won this exchange. Not because he talked the loudest, but because he asked the questions no one else would, and refused to accept slogans instead of answers. And that's exactly why moments like this matter, and why we cover them here on Congress Lens.